Let's see where you are.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're...
You just hit Cine.
Yes, I just hit Cine.
Hi, Orca. Hi, Doodles.
We decided to...
Yeah, we are at the last stages of redoing Baelzar's Wall for the gear.
Because a couple of our classes are kind of gear desperate.
I'm kind of thinking some gear crafting for them might be on Rayleigh and Theron's schedule tomorrow night. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Going in.
How'd you like these?
The bonus for doing Baelzar's Wall again tonight, besides the gear, is getting to punch the Griffin in the face again.
I'll tell you, limb from limb.
Fluffy!
Yeah, it sure was.
Hola, amigo!
Will you now?
I am you now. How'd you like these?
He felt that, felt Steve.
He usually does.
He groaned.
I'll tell you, limb from limb.
Where's my gap closer if he's gonna be doing this?
I don't think the gap closer comes in until, end of Stormblood, beginning of Shadowbringers.
I want my gap closer!
How'd you like these?
Big finish!
Not quite yet.
Almost big finish. There we go. Haha. Good night, Elberg. Rest in peace.
Please forget to write. There we go. And level,
Oh, very nice.
which makes White Mage my only 60.
Unfortunately, I'm the exact opposite. My tank and my white mage have leveled in all my DPS except Pugilist are only 60.
Gee, Pugilist is leveled. What a shock.
And mostly because of MSQ.
Yeah. But it means you're constantly doing everything as Pugilist.
Yeah, that gets...
Because you want more Puggles.
Puggle.
That's not gonna do me any good.
Okay, let's see if any of this gear
Fending.
means anything.
Yeah.
That's fending. Let's put that there. That is slaying.
Ah.
That is scouting. That is an earring, so I don't care. That is
Yeah.
That is
5.
striking. So, nothing for Red Mage. Red Mage is sad.
Sad red mage noises.
Sad Red Mage noises. However, I might have... No, I don't have happy month noises. Well, that's 245. That's a bracelet. This is 240, just barely.
I have one sideways upgrade.
Oh, I hate
Or
those.
side grade. Because the one thing I've managed to do is go from the Filibuster's Ring of Slaying to the Filibuster's Ring of Fending on tank.
Well, that's at least a little
And that's the
better.
only new item for me.
I have a new Pugilist jacket. Ready for this abomination?
Maybe.
Yeah. There.
Ah. I don't know if it goes with the horns.
No, it totally does not go with the horns, which makes me sad. And the ring, 245, 250, 240. That can go there. And I think my tank is good. That is 245. 270, not even! Oh.
Yeah.
But then again, she's almost in a complete shire at this point. Back to Red Mage.
That reminds me, 240, 270. So I do have one 270 left. 240. And everything else is either 240 or the 255 gray handed out for Dancer.
It may be gray for Dancer, but it should be like just under the
Yeah,
augmented
it's
shire.
255.
Augmented shire gear, so that is not
Yeah.
shabby.
No, it is not. Take another look. I think. Yeah, White Mage is the one that technically needs help the most, though Dragoon is only one item level above it. Okay. Have we gone through everybody's conversation, Sydney?
I think we have, but let's double check. Nero.
Yeah. There will be a quiz on this in 10 levels.
Does there have to be a quiz on this in 10 levels?
Sadly, yes.
Okay. Ida.
Fly free, my pretty. Ida's eyes shine with rekindled determination. A determination reborn?
So, we have to waken Omega up, right? When do we start?
Ida, are you sure that's...
I'm sure, yes. I won't lie and say I'm completely fine, but I'll feel a lot better if we're doing something useful. Very well. I will remain here and continue coordinating our efforts with the Alliance. Alphino, mayhap you could return to Cretania and assist Yustola and Cryo?
A fine suggestion. The rest of us will form the Cartano expedition party. Nero and I will focus on rousing Omega. while Lorena, Ladonia, Ida, and our Doman friends take care of security.
Oh, he's raring to go.
Yep, he always is. The Excelsior is by the lake just outside of town. We'll leave as soon as everyone is ready. Nero is still miffed that the Excelsior doesn't have a properly opulent mad scientist cabin.
Let me guess. Nero is actually a tea guy. No, I think he actually is a coffee guy from later in the story, but yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. He is enough engineer to say coffee, or say caffeine, lots of it right now.
Gary? Kosetsu is an accomplished swordsman. Should it come to battle, he will prove a staunch ally. Would that I could say the same for Nero. Yeah, well, Nero's a special case. Kosetsu?
Special. Will this contraption truly bear us through the skies? Oh yes, yes it will. Soon, Omega, soon. I will see you rise again.
You didn't do that with a mad scientist voice enough.
No. I'm not giving him the pleasure.
Fair enough. I was a bit lost for a while back there, but I'll be fine. Trust me.
Sure. Before you go in...
It's not you.
It's Square. We haven't far to go. With any luck, we'll be in Cartano before Gosetsu graces the deck with his dinner. Once there, however, we'd best be on our guard. Given that Eline Royale was still active when Omega was discovered, we can be sure that the Empire has long been aware of its existence. And if Nero deemed it the obvious solution to the threat posed by this new primal, it's not impossible that Gurlamald might do the same. Have your weapons ready and your wits about you. Something tells me we're flying into a fight.
Oh yeah.
It's the glow around your feet, that's what tells you.
Yeah, I always assumed that things like the glow and the exclamation points and stuff like that are part of the echo. And how we're so amazing at finding lost things.
Now, where was that?
A convenient terminal.
I've enabled the teleporter. One brief jump and we shall arrive in Omega's control room.
How convenient.
Joy.
You've been here before.
Of course. It was no easy task threading a path through all the skirmishes.
By the way, what he's referring to is the area we're in is actually smack in the middle of a PvP zone.
But how could I ignore the existence of such a fascinating toy? You may trust that my preliminary examination was suitably thorough.
Trust? Aye. I trust your appetite for technology. I chased down a suspect airship, and who should I find but the traitor, Sid Garland. Searching for something, engineer? Something big? It's close, isn't it?
What's the old phrase from, PDQ Bach? Hats off, a genius. Hats back on, everybody. An idiot.
Yes. Yes.
It's like all my name days have come at once.
For all the scouts the Empire could have sent. Take care of that brute, will you?
And he is a brute.
Yeah.
And he may think it's
Can't let Nero tinker
cause
around
for
in there by
celebration right
himself.
now, but
I'm sorry to leave you to it, but I dare say you'll manage without me.
yeah,
This clod has no idea
not so
who he's
much
dealing
later.
with.
Sid, we know you're a non-combatant. Get your butt out of here.
I am Gosetsu, Samurai of Doma. You will rue your choice of opponent this
Time to
day.
demo that new class.
Yeah, I think that's the first time they use the term samurai. Until then, he's just been a swordsman.
Oh, great. I'm healing this time.
Yes, yes, you are.
I was just tanking. It takes a little adjustment.
Grenwald. Yo.
Tis my right to strike.
Why are you doing it? This is such a tiny fight area. How's a red mage
Yeah.
supposed to cope?
With Zolenstein.
Well, the area just got bigger.
Tank, aisle 3! No, seriously, aisle...
Him? You've been having a lot of tank problems tonight.
Just that Uber! And I'm apparently a cutscene already.
I'm still struggling with everything.
I will wait for you.
Ah, there we go. Surrender! We have you outnumbered.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Are you still playing with those soldiers? I suppose I can lend you one of my toys, but only if you promise to give it back. Can I break it and then give it back? Oh, jeez. I'd forgotten this. Behold, the Red Baron. Now end this nonsense. There's a grin. What the? No one told me they had magic tech armor. Forward for the Empire.
It's your problem.
Honorless cur thinks to abandon his men. I shall see that he shares their fate. Pray attend to the rest of his minions.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie lookie.
I wonder what this button does.
Oh yeah. You killed a Titan, but that still only counts as one.
Oh, he took my toy away.
I'm not hit.
That's just embarrassing. Oh god, he's crying on his knees.
It's very him. You can't just run off! Yes, they can. Starting a battle is punishable by death. I order you to stand your ground. Come back here now! Bring this fate upon yourself. Damn it all to the son of hell. I'll kill you, bastards, if it's the last thing I do. Yeah, good luck with that.
Are you gonna run like little chicken butt? My god, he was such a chicken butt. Waiting for you at Nexton.
Temporal stasis disengaged. All systems operational.
Should
Garland?
be close. Should be very close. There we go.
He is such a
You
chicken
haven't
butt.
seen the last of me. Mark my words. It'll be you who rues this day. Huh? Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Meanwhile, in a different kind of way.
Okay.
All clear on this side. It's waking up.
So you really think this thing will take out Shinryu?
You mean Relger?
No, he didn't summon Relger.
Remarkable. Omega sensors immediately detected the presence of the cocoon, even at this distance. They must have been set to scan for sources of energy exceeding certain magnitudes.
I still don't see any means to control the machine directly. It seems to have been designed to act wholly autonomously. Once we release Omega, we can be fairly certain it will attempt to capture the Primal at Belsar's wall. Assuming its mission is successful, our only option at that point will be to re-engage its stasis system and put it back to sleep.
And should the machine happen to misbehave, we'll simply initiate an emergency shutdown. I confess we don't yet have a complete grasp of its capabilities, but I'm certain the details will not elude us for long.
They're talking techie
I'm
things.
half of that. So, my question to you is, are we doing the right thing?
Ooh, good question. Well, what do you think? 'Cause I don't.
What do I think?
Yeah. You.
Yeah.
All right. Step aside, Sid. Is this the thing I need to press?
Yes, that's the one.
She wants to press the button.
She wants to take the responsibility.
You gave too much for us to waste this chance, Papalimo. So this is for you. And me.
Fingers crossed?
Yes! Fly free, my pretty!
Yeah, he's going mad scientist on us.
He's always been mad scientist.
Usually.
The
types
problem
it
is
better.
he can actually back
The
up
launch
those
sequence has
words.
begun. Omega
That
is
too.
loose.
Yep, that's not Relger. Well, I'd say we didn't wait a minute too long on this.
Yeah.
Especially since that doesn't seem to have worked. This is perseverance of this thing. We're getting the Shinryu theme
Yes, we are.
long before that fight is available.
Yes.
A month or two.
whatever is. The collateral damage!
Solid beam physics. Yikes. I'm glad we're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to do fun things to the weather. They're not dead.
No. No, they were defeated but not dead.
Huh? Omega has stopped transmitting. But that shouldn't be. I didn't engage the stasis system.
And what does this signify? I have little understanding of these contrivances.
The launch went exactly to plan, but all signals emanating from Omega have ceased. This may indicate any number of things, but we will need to join the Scions out in the field if we are to ascertain which one.
Right. I've ordered a malfunctioning beast to go to sleep. That should prevent any unfortunate mishaps. I suggest we make our way back to Gridania.
Omega destroyed the cocoon.
No, the cocoon was...
Papalimo's spell is fading. It was bound to his ether, you see. And if the connection is broken...
Right.
Nero is neither a good or bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
He aligns himself...
He's just occasionally a useful one.
He aligns himself with whatever side he thinks will get him more forward in what he wants to do, which usually involves technology.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually care. He just wants to build and be the best, which is why he hates Sid's guts with a riving passion.
Yeah, he is in many ways doomed to Sid's Reed Richards.
Yes. Yes, he is.
It's the same kind of rivalry.
Sid? What happened?
I'm not sure why we lost contact with Omega, but I mean to find out. Let's be on our way. Travel to Gridania? Why, sure. Thank you for the lift, Sid.
There you are. Alfie?
So, did you enjoy the fireworks? There's a lot of them. I came as soon as I heard the Excelsior had been spotted on its approach. One moment, everything was functioning perfectly, and the next it wasn't. It makes no sense. We need to see what happened for ourselves, and soon. And we get 2 orchestration rolls. He who continues the attack, and Imperial Will. I don't suppose you know which tunes those are off the top of your head.
Nope. Sorry. Checking with this.
Fair. Alphino looks like he has news for us. Must dread to ask. The far edge of fate. Alphino has the look of a man with much to say. Words can ill express how glad I am to see you all unharmed. When Omega came hurtling towards the cocoon, everything dissolved into chaos.
I have to see it. I have to see it with my own eyes.
Ida, wait, The Elder Seeds here is expecting us.
Worry not, Alphino. Kosetsu and I will watch over her. You may safely attend your meeting.
My thanks, Hugiri. The council reconvened a short while ago. Let us make haste for the Lotus Stand. All there are eager to hear your testimony.
Of course, you realize this quest is the name of the patch.
Yes.
We might actually start Stormblood tonight. We will see.
We might. I was just going to let that happen and not necessarily spoil that.
Sorry! Yeah, the game does have a tradition that the name of the patch or expansion is always the final quest name.
Yes. As, Action once said when hitting the end of, Endwalker. They said it! They said the name!
Yes! He was very adamant about that. It was adorable.
Yes, it was. I love that one. And I was tempted to do that here, but I was kind of going, no, let's not call attention to this yet.
The Elder Seed Seer awaits within. And there's the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Who first?
Merlwib.
Another calamity averted, eh? How many times now have you and yours hauled us back from the brink?
Roban? It would seem Garland's little friend was as good as his word.
I wouldn't call him little, and I wouldn't call him friend.
Yeah. Oh, most people are a little compared to Ralban. At least most people who aren't Regaden. Had I not instructed you to throw Nidhogg's cursed eyes into the abyss, all of this might have been avoided. I thought them beyond reach. So did we!
That's why we threw them in there!
Yeah, it seemed like a great idea at the time.
My friends, full eagerly have we awaited your return. Few indeed could have discharged the duty entrusted to you, and most humbly do we thank you for seeing it done.
You are too kind, Elder Seedseer. As I recall, we as good as demanded the right to try. But tell me, how did the battle unfold? We succeeded in waking Omega, aye, but we lost contact with the weapon shortly after it launched. From our position in the control room, we were blind to all that followed.
What words could do justice to such a scene? None of my choosing, that much is certain, but I can give you the facts. The cocoon hatched even as Omega arrived, and from its midst rose a great dragon. The pair duly set about each other in the skies over Garabania.
The primals might defy belief. It seemed the very heavens would be rent asunder by the force of its blows. And it wielded such magics as I have never seen, and hope never to see again. The battle raged on with no end in sight, until both combatants were engulfed in a blinding flash of light. When the radiance faded, I saw the pair fall motionless from the sky, coming to rest somewhere on Alamegan soil. I will not speak for the rest, but to my eye, it seemed that each had landed a fatal blow upon the other.
While most among us could only think of Bahamut when looking upon the primal form, the Domans were heard whispering the name Shinryu. It would appear that the being resembles a creature of Far Eastern legend, and we have found it convenient to refer to it as such. This Shinryu's fate, and indeed that of Omega, is yet unknown. We have, alas, no eyes in Garabania side of the border.
Aye, which is why we have sent our main force under the command of Marshal Taupin to capture the wall. With the Imperials in disarray, we have the perfect opportunity to secure Gridania's border and assess the aftermath of the impact. I myself will join the Marshal and his men when the council is adjourned. Well, that explains a few things. I'll wager that flash of light coincided with our loss of contact. Lest you wonder, we quickly re-engaged Omega's stasis systems, so even if it has fallen into the Empire's lap, it will be of no use to them, save perhaps as a statue. Correct. Without me to guide their efforts, it would take them decades to decipher Omega's core functions, if they managed it at all.
Such reassurances
Not
do
making
much.
us feel any better.
Such reassurances do much to calm our fears. Yet the relic's fate is but one of several concerns.
Indeed. I humbly submit that the time has come for us to make contact with the Resistance representatives in Garabania. Though Ilberd has forced our hand, it would seem only logical to seek an alliance, given the inevitability of Imperial retaliation. And by working in concert, it is not impossible that Alamigo might finally be wrested from Garlemald's grasp. Start with it, Merrick. This operation to take the wall will be Ishgard's first military action under Alliance banners. Though I have no appetite for bloodshed, a part of me is glad of the chance to begin reparations for our past inaction.
Pray accept my humblest and most earnest thanks once again, warriors of light. Had Shinryu been suffered to roam free, the Twelveswood would surely have been laid to waste.
At the very least. I go to oversee operations at Baelsar's Wall. You have done your part. Leave us to handle the initial Imperial reprisal, and rest while you may.
When the primal emerged, I was for an instant transported back to Carteneau, to the moment the black worm made an eighth hell of the battlefield. Gladly would I live out the rest of my days without seeing such a sight again.
Yeah, we can agree with that one. I should very much like to see this Shinryu, the creature, for myself.
No, you don't.
Be careful what you wish for. If, as seems likely, we put Omega into stasis after, what did they call it? Yes, after Shinryu was defeated, we should have little to fear from either one of them.
I hope...
Said, don't say things like that. You two must be exhausted. I would ordinarily suggest we retire directly to the Rising Stones, but I wonder if we might first make a small detour. Y'shtola and the others have gathered at Amaris's spire, and I imagine that you too would be interested to see what has become of the wall now the cocoon is gone.
Good
It is
point.
decided then. Lead on. Actually, I just realized I don't think we're starting Stormblood today.
Oh, yeah, we've got an hour of credits.
At least a half hour of the good parts.
And the after
And I
credits
definitely want us
scenes.
to get to the... Yeah, and I definitely want us to see the final image in the credits.
Yeah. We're working on it.
So where are you?
Oh, sorry. We want to stay in that zone.
We do?
Yes?
Amaris's spire.
I thought we were partied.
No.
I sent you an
We
invite.
deep. No.
Okay, follow me.
You should know where Amaris's spire is.
Yes, I do, which is why we want to stay in this half of Gridania. As we slowly make our way across the entire zone. On foot.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Nero is,
Yeah.
special.
And yes, FK, Sid is... Pretty much all of the Sids are great characters. This is one of the best Sids. There's been a Sid in every Final Fantasy since, like, around 3 or 4.
Oh god, what magazine was it that actually did the most important top 10 list you will ever have? And it was a top 10 list of Sids from Final Fantasy ranked based on their beards.
Yes!
Purchase passenger to
Sweet
Sweet Bloom. Yes.
Okay. And of course, I also liked the thing of the old person say, okay, prove to me you're actually a Final Fantasy fan. List your 7 favorite characters. Said. Okay, that one's on me.
Yeah. Ah. There's a lot of Sids.
Yeah. Don't
And
really
Thunder God
remember...
Sid still scares the pants out of everybody.
Yes. Who is a transplant from FF Tactics.
Yeah, FFT.
Yeah, he's the Tactics version of Sid.
FK, have you actually ever played Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lions?
Yeah. Tactics was actually our intro to the Final Fantasy series. Of the style of RPG it is, which is a tactics RPG, it is one of the best there's been. And frankly, it's one of the better FFs there's been, period.
Yeah.
Which are not normally tactics style RPGs.
Let's put it this way.
Originally came out for the PS1, you can get it for iOS and now Steam.
Yeah, and they just came out with the Steam version, which is really nice. One thing I will say is just about anyone who has played any of the Final Fantasies basically considers FFT part of the main line, even though it is unnumbered.
Yeah, now if only the concert series and things like that would. Because there's a lot of great music in that one, too.
Yes, there is.
Anyway. Only the curs of Garlemald would sully such beauty with that black iron monstrosity. Those animals respect nothing and no one.
Yeda is there, atop the spire. She's done naught but gaze silently at the wall for some time now. Yeah, I bet.
Uh-huh.
Alfie?
No trace of the cocoon remains. It is as if it never existed.
Of course, it being thunderstorms is going to make this a little difficult for visuals. At the same time, considering what just happened, I totally believe thunderstorms rolling through the area.
Yeah.
Oh, thank the 12. After witnessing Omega's single-minded assault, I had visions of you being trapped between it and its target. Hardly the most rational concern, I concede. But if you had seen what I saw...
Yeah, I don't blame you, Kryl.
My friends, I cannot well express how glad I am to see you both unharmed. They say that Omega's clash with the Primal shook the very firmament.
You need not have worried. The battle took place far above the ground. We were able to observe in relative safety, though I'm given to understand that there were casualties on the far side of the wall.
I bet there were. Holy moly!
Yeah, like entire towns wiped out.
It was like watching a nightmare unfold before our very eyes. Ilbird's primal manifested in the form of a colossal dragon, a being of pure violence. It burst forth from the cocoon with such terrible force.
That such a horror should spring from the eyes of Nidhogg comes as no surprise. Nor do I wonder at its form. Ilberd all but announced it in the moments prior to his death. Plainly, it was his dying wish to visit a second calamity upon the Empire.
And I am quite certain the abomination would have obliged had it not found itself outmatched by Omega. Gods! I am no stranger to the works of Alag, but even I was unprepared for the machine's furiosity. It beggared belief.
You know,
and how fares poor Eda
that
in the
design
midst
didn't
of all
look
this?
very Allagan.
Have you spoken with her?
There were hints of Allagan there, but... hints.
Yeah.
She is up on the platform, lost in thought. We deemed it best not to disturb her, but mayhaps she would welcome some company after all. Shall we?
We shall.
Let her know she doesn't have to be alone with her thoughts. She has friends.
The light's gone. It was all we had left of him.
Eda.
I don't blame anyone. I knew what was going to happen. I knew the spell Papalimo meant to cast would drain away his life force. I knew that it would only buy us a little time.
How is she hiding all of that?
Ida, there is no need to explain.
Magic.
But there is. I can't hide in Papalimo's little shadow anymore, and I shouldn't hide behind my sister's mask. "20 years ago, on the day the Empire marched into Alamigo, I was still just a child, not even 5 summers old. My father had been one of the leaders of the revolution. He had fought to overthrow the Mad King, Theodoric. And my sister had fought alongside him. But she was strong and kind, and always knew what to do. But when the Garleans came, everything changed. My father went to war against them too, and I never saw him again. After that, I remember a lot of running. My sister dragged me for malms and malms until we came to the city of Charlian. That was where she met Master Louis Soir. He introduced her to the Circle of Knowing, and she eventually became an Archon.
She was your inspiration. Is that not why you took up her mask and her name? Or did you simply mean to continue what she had started?
You've known all along, haven't you? That I wasn't Ida.
Of course. We all recognized you at once. 'Twas Papalimo who persuaded us to maintain the charade.
It was silly to think I could fool you. I knew that even then, but I sort of decided not to know. Ida died 6 years ago, on a mission to smuggle refugees out of Alamigo. They say she was overwhelmed by Imperial soldiers when she stayed behind to save a little girl. She was so strong. There must have been a lot of them.
And you aren't strong, Yeah, we have no carrot in this fight. So, we're gonna stay silent. It's the smart bunny way of things, which is amazing considering we're not smart at all.
I'm sorry for lying to you. My real name is Lise.
Better to keep one's mouth closed and be thought a fool.
When Papalimo brought me Ida's mask, it was meant as a keepsake, but I decided I wanted to be his new partner, to keep alive all the good that she had done. I didn't want to become Ida, exactly. At the time, though, I still didn't know who I was myself, and it almost seemed easier to play the role. Papalimo agreed to help, of course, but it was never what he wanted for me. He wanted me to walk my own path, and those were his final words to me. The Archon's mark he gave me is faded, and my last excuse along with it. So this is it. Whatever I choose to do from now on, I do as Lise. And I choose to continue my family's fight. I want Alamigo to be the country that Ida and my father always wanted it to be.
War is upon us once more.
Do you regret standing against the Empire? Would you have chosen a different road, knowing what you know now?
To claim that I never doubted the decision would be a lie. But I made my choice, and I have defended it with blade in hand ever since.
The battle continues, and our steel is needed. Come, Shadow Walker, we leave for the east, for Doma.
On again, off again, dubbing. It was brave of Lise to remove her mask after so long. Though she has scarce begun to come to terms with Papalino's loss, that one act made plain her determination to move forward. And should she ever falter, we shall be there to support her on this road she is resolved to walk.
Well said, little one.
Let us return to the Raising Stones. We have quite a story to tell to Taru and my sister.
Yeah.
She is going to be mad she missed the show. And roll credits.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Title logo designer and image illustrator Yoshitaka Amano. No, really?
Yep, and he still is involved in the project.
Oh yes, yes. Since we have time while this goes by, explain a little on Final Fantasy Tactics. A tactics-style RPG generally has you basically doing all the combat is basically like skirmish miniatures games. You know, you'll have a squad of, depending on the game, of maybe 5 to 10 people, and you control them all in a turn-based thing on an actual gridded battlefield that you maneuver on and so on. The genre was generally started by the Tactics Ogre series. And at one point, Squaresoft basically cockroached the main people behind the series, set up an entire team for them, and had them create a quote-unquote Final Fantasy game in that genre. And that's Final Fantasy Tactics.
Of which, if you want to play the original Ogre Battle, or Ogre Tactics, or Tactics Ogre, depending on the translation, that recently came out as an enhanced edition with all the expansions to it.
Yeah.
And I actually have that. It's one of the things I've been meaning to play on air.
Yes.
If we can ever get your crafting
by the way,
done.
on the subject of things on Steam and things played on air, I did have an email go past my desk during the stream that Monochrome Mobius is currently on sale.
Okay, which we have played on air.
I don't know how much on sale, yes, but it is currently on sale if there's anyone who'd like to pick that up.
I will also say that, bar none, everyone agrees the hardest boss to beat in FF14 actually exists, or in the entire FF series, actually exists in Tactics.
Oh god, Swygraph.
Yeah. Him. He's actually...
Yeah, the thing is he's tough. He's not horribly tough, but they set up the battle in such a way as to make it very difficult, and they put him at the end of a short chain of battles that you can't otherwise get out of. So if you're not prepared for him when you enter that chain of battles, good luck.
Yeah, you're kind of hosed. And he's like the second to last boss of the game. He is like second or third.
Third or so, because he's at like the end of Act 2 or something like that. There's actually a lot of game after him. And the dual boss battles with Ultima at the very end are not nearly as bad.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other bosses in between. And lots of actual story.
Yeah, one of the games I've been wanting to get back to for streaming is... Yes, too soon. Is Utuari Ramono, the second and third game, which are also tactical RPGs.
Yes. Not as strongly in that genre as some of the others, but it is tactical RPG.
Yep. And one I've played on the Switch by actually the same group that did Final Fantasy Tactics and Ogre Battle is brain fart.
Triangle Tactics?
Yeah, Triangle Tactics. Which is good, but the story wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
But then again,
and that's one of the things about Final Fantasy Tactics is it has an excellent story. Even with the original 1997 not very good Sony translation.
I had a good feeling.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that meme, that's from Tactics.
Yeah.
It was one of the things
they kind of misset things up. So one of the things you'd get on sending out people for side jobs, and if something bad was going to happen, one of them actually exclaims, "I had a good feeling," and then they tell you all about everything that went wrong.
Yes. I've got a funny feeling that it wasn't meant as "I had a good feeling." It was "I had a good feeling."
Maybe. Probably not that, actually. Because that kind of goes over towards sarcasm, which Japanese has problems with.
I don't know. Kyoto seems to have the fine master art in it.
Here.
The entire thing with Kyoto and how they tend to speak apparently comes down to read between the lines.
Right.
For everything.
So is Theron staring longingly at the screen?
Yes.
Oh, maybe not anymore.
I'm hearing thy milkshakes bring all the boys to the yard. Which was also a very big meme.
Yeah, I don't know that one. I saw the Denmo McStrong huge bit, but I'm going, okay, why?
There is a kind of rap R&B song, and it's effectively the way the content goes is it's one girl basically dissing another girl that she's not stacked enough.
Uh-huh.
And one of the big lines was, my milkshakes, as in shaking her boobies, will bring all the boys to the yard, i.e. get all their attention onto her. And how this other girl just doesn't qualify. And someone did a meme of Urion J saying that in his classic Shakespearean
that was
linguistic
one of the
tongue,
McStrong huge screams.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Well, that meme got so big, we now have a quote-unquote official version of the English voice actor doing those lines.
Okay, then. We're gonna Can you punch Nero?
Happily! But then in cutscene! And in Red Mage.
Fine.
Yeah, there were a lot of meme stuff in Shadowbringers. One of the other ones that's absolutely hilarious, unfortunately, we have not seen her stuff at all after Shadowbringers. She just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. Was Fluff and Stuff. And she did this she did a couple of music videos which were beautiful and hilarious all at the same time. And then at one point came out with this little short of the Godbert and Hildebrandt Manderville in mini skirts, shaking their hips as a demo for Cloth Dynamics. And it was hilarious. Because you could totally see them doing that.
Yes.
Unfortunately, she hasn't uploaded anything since, which makes me sad.
Right.
She was someone on YouTube who came out with animated shorts with FF14. Same with Jenny B. Jenny B. Or is it Benny G? Benny G. And Benny G's stuff has just gotten better and better and better and better.
Yes, yeah.
I'm almost half tempted at some point just to do a meme stream.
And there's something I have a bad feeling we're gonna see again.
What, chicken tenders?
Is that the fight that goes to?
Yes!
I guess it is.
Yes! There's a couple of classic misheard lyrics in this game, which they happen.
Which is made worse by the fact that most of them are basically like faux language and they don't even bother giving you, and here's a transliteration of what nonsense people are saying. So there's no official lyrics out there, and on some of them, the other one is much worse for me. Chicken tenders doesn't actually work as well for me, for my ears. Once you hear it, you can't hear anything else because there's no official lyric to contradict it with.
Yeah, and that's Big Fat Tacos.
Yes, that's the big one. That's a little ways off yet.
Yeah, chicken tenders, though, especially some of the lyrics, yeah, this person raids. In salt we gather. Come, let's die. Because that fight is just nasty on a stick.
Something for the buns to look forward to.
It should be listed as Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions.
Yes. And the lions they're talking about is basically, the banners for each side. They're actually pulling inspiration from the English Wars of the Roses for the plot.
Yeah, originally it was just Final Fantasy Tactics. The War of the Lions came in with a remake for the PSN, I believe.
Vita. And basically, if it's subtitled War of the Lions, that means you're seeing the version with the new translation.
Yeah. At one time, it was actually
everything other than the original PlayStation.
I think they've taken it down, but for a while it was actually available on iOS for tablet.
I believe it still is. Should be available on iOS and I think Android. The main problem is, of course, a lot of people diss it because it's expensive for a game. Of course, it's a full game and there are no DLC for it, and there never will be, so yeah, yes, it's $15. Wow. That said, because it's a very menu-driven game, don't try playing it on your phone, and it's only, okay on a tablet because it's a little menu-driven. A lot menu-driven. So I would recommend something more like Steam. On this loop for a bit now.
Yep. I believe it is very slowly pulling out.
Yeah, they usually do that on most of them.
But yeah, this is our mark that concludes Heavensward. Holy moly.
We already concluded Heavensward. This is Heavensward Plus is over.
Yep.
The patch cycle after the main story. So next week we will be
I do kind of
consider
the patch cycle as part of the expansion.
Yeah, somewhat. But it is handy to separate it into Heavensward and Heavensward Plus. And now we're going to be going into territory where we don't have the soundtrack on disc. Because we have the Heavensward and Heavensward Plus soundtracks, but we don't have Stormblood yet.
We will
fix that someday.
Because there are some good pieces in Stormblood.
I want to get all of them. It's just getting around to it. Step 1 is keeping up on all the new releases as they come out. Step 2 is backfilling it. Yeah, it's about time to backfill a disc or so.
I think Stormblood, sound and music-wise, is where they kind of had the end of Numatsu and the start of Soken. I mean, they were both involved earlier.
No,
but...
Soken is everything other than ARR.
Okay, I thought Umatsu actually helped a bit with Stormblood and then
might have assisted.
Kind of
I'd have to check. But technically, I believe everything other than ARR is primarily Soken, with maybe a little help from Umatsu. Now, of course, in certain places, they kind of leaned on the original soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Like, borrowing 3 or 4 pieces from it for, Palace of the Dead. Of course, at that point, they were borrowing Umatsu, but largely speaking, no, it's also Soken. And I know Heavensward was Soken, actually, thinking about it. I remember people talking about that.
What you will need, F&K, once you finish the free trial, is they should have a combined pack of Shadowbringers, Inkwalker, and Dawn Trail that you can buy as one.
Certainly they'll have a combined pack of the first 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
They might split off the most recent one still.
I think they've been kind of getting away from that.
Yeah, take a look around.
Yeah, definitely be very cautious and really look and read the descriptions of what you get. Also, to be honest, by the time you hit the end of the free trial, because these games are massive, and look how long it took us to do this, but we've been casually kind of meandering our way through.
And only doing it an hour and a half a week.
The next expansion might have come out, so...
Yes!
I don't know if they'll shift the free trial along with it or not. This is a game that you definitely don't... If you care about the story, you do not want to rush to end game.
Oh, no.
But yeah, they usually shuffle around that they have a complete edition, which is everything up to, like, just, up to the current expansion, and then the current expansion will either be, on its own, or combined with the previous expansion only. They get kind of weird, and it shifts all the time because there's always new stuff coming out, so definitely read the descriptions before hitting the purchase button.
Yeah, Stormblood is part of the trial now. So the earliest thing that you will be looking for purchasing would be Shadowbringers.
And I believe Shadowbringers has been rolled into a pack with Endwalker. So
I wouldn't be surprised if you can get it both ways, but yeah, I think it's Endwalker and Shadowbringers together, and then I think Dawn Trail is still separate, but by now they might have rolled it in.
Yeah. Again, double check. It shifts all the time depending on how long the last expansion came out and all that fun stuff.
This is an Amano piece, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an Amano sketch.
Colored pencil? Or just, I guess, 2 colors of pencil?
I think it's graphite and colored pencil.
Right.
And if memory serves me correct, that's actually supposed to be Ratatasker.
Okay.
And the fight against the Knights of the Round.
Yeah.
So that's technically what she looked like. Which, of course, we never see in game because by the time the game starts, she's long since dead.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on to business.
We are out of the Illos, so we should get one last piece after things, but now it's skip. Sorry, guys. I know you all have families too. They can watch the credits for you. Okay, and we'll have to turn in or finish off the quest.
Alpha, no?
Talk to everyone else first. They've definitely moved around.
Oh yeah, they're all back. Most of them had wandered off. Let's start with Tataru in the back, talking to Riol.
Oh, no.
At the tables.
Yes.
Did you know about Leith? I had no idea. We only met after the calamity, and her sister must have already been, well, you know, a little
Given
note.
the timing, she would have been dead about a year before the calamity.
A little note story-wise. While this kind of thing comes out of the blue, it actually goes back to some hints they were dropping in 1.0. Particularly when you first meet Leith, at one point you get a chance to see her eyes, and they're brown. When we were escaping from Ul'dah after the bloody banquet, they were blue.
Right.
This is how they explain it.
No, that should have been before that, because unless they really are going for...
Yeah, because it was 6 years ago, which is about the start...
As of ARR, it's been 5 years between the Calamity and ARR.
Yeah, and I believe
they
1.0
avoid...
was about a year and a half.
No, because Curtain O is the climax of the end of 1.0.
Yeah, exactly. I'm talking about the start of 1.0.
But that was 5 years. Oh, okay. How long 1.0 itself takes?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if they say anything about how much time is supposed to pass during all of that. Huh. Oh,
well, they've always been kind of fuzzy on their time and officially stating that...
Yeah. Other than that 5-year gap, they have been very leery of saying anything solid.
They basically say that time only goes forward when we say it goes forward, is the official statement.
Yeah.
Now...
And they avoid saying it goes forward.
During the end of Shadowbringers, a side... talk between you and what's his name? He's not even here, is he? He's over in the old place. The one Alamegan Scion, Pally. He plays a major end piece in the end of Shadowbringers and the end of Stormblood, but he actually mentioned that it had been a year for Shadowbringers.
Okay.
So, Mule?
Things are heating up in Alamigo, but we can't afford to lose track of the trouble that might be brewing in the rest of the realm. Don't you worry, though. I'll be keeping an ear to the ground, a nose in the air, and one eye on the horizon.
Please do that.
Do.
Of course, you realize he only has one eye.
Yes. You should still be in bed.
Yes! Oh, she is so put upon. This is Ari.
At last, I was able to rise from my sick bed. The pain when I tried to take up my axe. What a sad old man I have become. This is why she's telling you you should be in bed. Back in the Far East, we treat back pain with a long soak in a hot spring. What say you to a short journey, Isildare? I am told the waters at Camp Bronze Lake are famous for their healing properties. Yes, they are, and yeah, he could probably use a good soak there.
Kind of a spoiler. At the end of Endwalker, you can find these 3 in the big open-air hot spring bath in Kugane. Efime? Lady Flahamet? She set out... I sent her outside to enjoy a cup of quiet... Let me try that again. Sorry.
Sure.
Lady Flahamet? I sent her outside to enjoy a quiet cup of tea. Much has happened in these past moons, and we all can use a rest every now and again. What are these 3 up to?
Though it might be simpler to surrender to despair, I have chosen to resume my studies in the arcane. I received much wisdom from Papa Limo, and I would put his advice into practice.
You do that, Coltene.
Who first?
Clement. My sister has the most curious ideas of courtship. Oh dear.
Yes.
I made myself a fool of myself on our last mission. But I will show him what I'm made of. Come now, Hore. This is the best you've got. Oh dear.
Should the Urkons be called away to Gurabanya, it'll fall to us to deal with the Scion's usual obligations, and thus we must remain peak condition.
Ogre?
You're not helping. A fine showing, brother, but you've yet to outpace Aenor. Yeah, you are not
helping. Ah, those button heads.
Yes.
Alfie?
Alphino. You should have seen the look on Taru's face when I recounted Lisa's I realize in retrospect I should perhaps have waited for you to return. I also told Alice. Apologies.
No. You think I'm smart enough to explain that piece?
Well, I think he's thinking he should have waited for us so we could see the looks on their faces.
He may have mentioned it, but Alphino has apprised me of all that came to pass in Gardania. Your only task now is to rest. This is the calm before the storm. Lisa's chosen her path, and as her friends, we must do what we can to support that choice. We are fated to join in the conflict in any case. Once the Alliance has taken the wall and opened the way to Gardania, we have little choice but to fight. Which is not to say that the cause is unworthy. After all, ignoring the plight of those who might conceivably be saved is not wisdom but indolence, correct? I, for one, look forward to joining hands with the Alamegans and striking a blow against the tyranny of the Empire. As I rather suspect, do you.
Somebody's eager for some punching. Yeah, that's gonna be the last we hear of that. And here we go.
They are taking the wall.
There's a bit of trouble there. Quick march! The Imperials will soon come to their senses, and we must be ready to face their retribution.
Of course there's rubble there. That's what the Griffin did to the place while we fought him.
Yeah.
And he did a number. All those lion heads.
It is almost time, Father. I almost stand firm, Pippin. I learned to brace myself against the charge of the Bull of Alamigo. No foe will dislodge me.
We liberated the hell out of this place.
Well, someone did. Very well, Elbert. I will take our homeland back. For the both of us. Iceland's trouble.
That's the new Garlean region for Alamigo, isn't it?
Governor.
Yeah. They did say no one was assigned.
My Lord Viceroy, our scouts have confirmed the preliminary reports. Baelzur's wall has fallen to the Eorzian Alliance. The hunt for Omega and the unknown icon continues, though both yet elude us. My lord, their battle caused considerable damage across the region. Should we perchance divert some of our forces from the search to undertake necessary reconstruction work? Forgive me, my lord. I did not intend. Your will be done. Of course, the griffins are the symbol of Alamigo.
Yeah, that's the Alamegan throne room.
Unknown. My spies tell me the Domans call it Shinryu, and that it proved a match for Omega. Yes, the coming days promise to be most interesting. Most interesting. Do we have to deal with this guy? At the far edge of fate, the road begins anew. The heroes look to eastern skies and behold their crimson hue. A dawn of liberation, a gathering storm of blood. "5 minutes of fate."
And we will stop here.
Yeah, let's go out for a drink. I'm gonna need one.
Yeah, it's drinky time. It is so drinky time. Yeah. At least drinks. Keep them coming.
All week.
We gonna need 'em.
Yeah.
Well. Okay, it took us how long to get through all of Heaven's Word in the patch cycle?
I don't know.
Oh god! I can see a red mage quest!
Yes, yes. You finally hit the expansion, so you're qualified for it.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do a white mage quest, which means you can too.
We're gonna hold on.
We'll have to figure out our scheduling for those.
Well, usually we go through the main expansion and then do them
and then do all these. Yeah.
back to back. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you all very much for coming along tonight. We're done with Heaven's Word. That means next week, unless there's a new holiday, it's on to Stormblood.
Yes.
Which will
New
have
title
another
screen.
hour plus of opening cinematics.
And speaking of, you should probably lead off next week's stream with the actual expansion cine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, we should. With that said, you all be safe, be well, get a good night's sleep, and we will see you tomorrow for more crafting poking. Just a note, as of Tuesday is when Cosmic Exploration drops. So we'll probably jump onto that.
We'll be, Wednesday and or Friday.
Probably starting Wednesday. It's gonna take multiple weeks to get through.
Sure.
And this will just be the first part of it.
Our hearing stuff. Oh yes.
You all have a good night. Be safe. Be well. Get a good night's sleep, and we will see you next time.
Yes, everyone have a great night. Hope to see you here tomorrow at 9:30 PDT.
Until then, say hello to the ferrets.